Hi and welcome back to Mike's Corner. In this episode, we're not gonna do an AliExpress unboxing because, come on, we've got to mix it up a little bit. Now, as you can see, I quite like my retro gear. So in the background, I've got my Commodore equipment in this nice display case. Which brings me to this. Oh, this beige Commodore 64. Ugh, it's so plain and beige. But Retro Fuzion have the answer to that. So let's have a look at the Retro Fuzion crystal clear Commodore 64 case. Let's get unboxing. Here we have a Commodore 64 I picked up from a Retro Computer Mart, literally probably now about 5 years ago. I paid £10 for it, and it comes with power supply, C2N, and that was pretty much it. It was non-functioning, but I've got it working, and this is my daily driver Commodore 64. When I want to use Commodore 64, this is the one I pull out. Now, condition-wise, it's not bad. I mean, the case is pretty good. Little bit of yellowing on the edge here, but as a Commodore 64 goes, it's actually in really nice condition. Serial label's a bit torn, but it's actually a really nice looking Commodore 64, clean, and sadly I haven't actually used it in probably about 2 years because moving house and it's been stuck in the loft. But this was the perfect opportunity to bring it out. So let's have a look at what we've got. Due to its size, I'm not going to throw this either, but here is the Retro Fuzion C64 Breadbin case. New from Retro Fuzion. High quality production, UV resistant, so no browning on the plastics. Brass screw inserts, all new colour options, matching accessories. Compatible with original, modern and reproduction C64 motherboards and keyboards. Apparently it was funded on Indigo as well. So here's the web address down here, retrofuzion.com. And this is not a sponsored video. This is I actually paid for this myself, waited for the shipping, and it turned up pretty much just before Christmas. So it's a little Christmas present to myself, which is quite nice. We'll have a little look around the box. So we've got a model, or the actual picture of the case there, some more branding, and there are different options that you can get for colours around here. We get a little bit zoom up of that. And other side of it, again, just a darker version of it. That it's kind of, the design of it is like the original Commodore 64 cases came with the lines on the actual case. So it's quite a nice little throwback to the retro of the Commodore 64. And it's kind of its legacy. But I haven't opened this, so I've been very, very, very good. And I've really wanted to get in here. So let's pop it open and have a look, see what we've got. I'm quite excited, so let's do this. Oh, wow. Okay, so what have we got here? So we've got Another Legend returns in 2025. What is that going to be? That's interesting. It kind of looks like a joystick because it's got 2 red buttons, but unsure. But that's all. It's just a teaser. What's that going to be? I place that to the side. And what else have we got here? So looks like they do other little bits and pieces. You can get the C2N in different colours as well. That's quite snazzy, actually. And loads of other little bits and pieces as well. So quite nice. They do the Commodore Amiga cases and labels and stuff. I'm not a fan, I've got to say, of the labels that have the cover on them, like the resin finish that may bevel upwards. I prefer a flat label on my systems, but that's just personal preference. But I don't really like the beveled look on the logos. Let's have a look here. Right. Here we go. Are we ready for this? Because I'm certainly way overdue on this one. Oh, what have we got here? Wow. Okay, so there's your I/O ports kind of covering. So your joystick ports, your power switch, and your power. quite nice. That's a nice touch actually. Put that to the side. Not sure what's in here, but we'll have a look at that shortly. This is what I want to look at. So let's take it out. I'll have a little. Let's move the box out of the way. Okay. Oof. It appears to be resting on top of the second half, so hopefully it's caused no damage. So let's take that out and place them to the side. So it's one part. Here is the other part. So let's just sit it on top of each other. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, so here we have the crystal Commodore 64, and I appear to have a broken one here. So my one definitely has a crack in the case right here. So this will be an interesting opportunity to see exactly how the support for this goes. So what I've done, I've run onto the Retro Fuzion website, and on the support you can actually email support@retrofuzion.com, and I've taken some pictures of said damage to the top cover, and we're going to see what happens. So hopefully we can get this resolved quite quickly and we can continue with our unboxing, because I really want to put that 64 in the transparent case. While we wait for support to come back to us on the damage that looks like it actually happened when it may have been shipping, let's have a look around the actual product. So we've got the two halves connected at the moment, and they fit in really nicely together. I mean, it feels nice in the hand as well. You know, it's nice and smooth. There's no texture like the original Commodore 64, but that might be on just on the transparent ones. So on the actual different coloured ones, you might get a texture on them. Looking around it, there are some little bits and pieces that do stand out, and being a perfectionist is one of these things. I've got a little bit of dirt in the screw hole here, which I'm never going to get out, and there are bits of dirt throughout, really, especially around where the actual molds looks like they've been released, so there's like black lines of dirt on them. There are some mold marks looking at this, so we've got to let's have a look there if I can get in the light. There's a mold mark there. As I say, this is probably not going to be apparent if you have a coloured case. I think with the transparent case, this is something really, really hard to pull off because it's transparent, so it's going to see everything through it. There is a couple of things that are incorrect on the case, especially on the bottom half of the case. Now this is the thing that stands out a lot to me. So the screw holes are located in different locations on the case. Put your motherboards in, and they've probably got them for the short board as well as the long board as well. However, what Commodore did on the original Commodore 64 is they added these little bevel areas. Now, not many people know what these are for. Now, what these are for is the screw holes are on top of the beveled areas. Now, the beveled areas are there, so if you screw in a screw that's a little bit too long, it doesn't damage the case because the bevels are there to protect the case when you put a slightly longer screw in. Now, but it's important for these to be in the same location as the screw hole because that's their primary use. That's the only reason that they're there. However, on this transparent case, they're not. So you've got a bevel there and you have the screw hole there, and it's pretty much like that throughout. So here we have my Commodore 64 motherboard, standard motherboard, just a couple of little mods on it, a replacement for the PLA as well. That I've realised I've not opened this. So should we open this up and have a quick look to see what's inside here? Because I just don't know. There we go, I'm in. Okay, so we have a couple of things. So So we have a serial number. So I am serial number 943. It's got some of the feet for the bottom. You can actually get the original ones of these still. So the actual ones that the Commodore 64 used, you can still get them to this day. So, and what else have we got here? So we've got, oh, this is nice touch actually. They've kind of copied the badge. It's not one of those badges which have the resin kind of on the top. It's actually a proper metal badge by the feel of it. That feels really nice, and the power one feels really nice as well. That's a nice touch. What I would have probably have preferred more, this is quite large, this actual colours. Now, a while ago, I did a modification on the C64, which was released by a different company, and I created a logo for it, which incorporated their logo as like the Commodore one would have, and it looked so much better. And I think what they could have done is something very similar and just had their name on here, and made a very similar kind of logo with that to make it look more professional. But regardless, that's just me being really picky. But I like what they've done here. I just wish that the colours weren't so long, but it's cool. I like that. So what else have we got here? We've got all the screws for the system, and we have transparent ones as well. That's nice for the transparent cases. Good touch. And we have a replacement power LED. Cool, that's really nice. So let's grab the bottom of the board and throw them up. Oh, actually, before we go anywhere, we're going to have to take this off, aren't we? Because we have a replacement for it right here. Let's go ahead and get that off and put this on. Okay, little thing I've noticed. So these original faceplates are metal. So the screw hole is actually basically machined in. So the screws go into the thread that's in them. However, these don't have that, and the screw pack that comes with it also doesn't have any nuts. So how do you attach this then? So do the screws actually just screw into the... They don't. They do not. They just drop straight through. So there's no nuts included, and you can't screw it in. So little update, you can actually screw your original screws that are on your original plate into it, and it will hold it. I would have liked to see them include a nut and bolt in these with the same colour as screws that they actually supplied, but it's something you can remedy if you do have the screws for your original plate. So I've got the motherboard in now, but there are some concerning things regarding the case screw locations. So obviously this is designed for a shortboard and a longboard, as kind of the Commodore 64 original cases were as well, but the screw holes in them were plastic, so there's no danger of conductivity on the actual traces or underneath the motherboard. However, on this, we've got a problem, and I would say it's a very big one. So the shortboard motherboard screws, they are exactly the same as the other ones. They have the copper inserts for the screws. They're not recessed at all though. So the actual threads are flat with the actual plastic, which is a problem if you have it resting on your actual traces. You've got it resting here, you've got it resting here, here, and here. So I've got a little update for you. I've been able to track down some kind of little feet that I can put on these. So here we have the longboard mounted with my little rubber feet on top of the actual copper screw holes. So I shouldn't have any danger of shorting out now. So I've been trying to mount the actual LED in the top cover, and the actual round black holder is far too big. So it doesn't actually sit in there at all. It's just too big and it just falls out. So you can either reuse the one that was in your original Commodore 64 or you can just go without it. So I've taken the time to mount the keyboard into the top case. One thing to notice, Commodore 64 cases, they were varied quite a lot with different changes made throughout their life cycle. As you can see here, the F keys are quite close to the side, which is very much the same as the original Commodore 64 silver labels, where your 64G has bigger gaps around the actual keys, so they're more central. So here we have the final result. So it is such a nice case. It looks so cool. I haven't stuck these down, obviously, but it's so nice. I mean, look at this. It's so nice. I don't have the heat shield on it or anything like that, or the RF shield, because this board didn't have it. Because I've added the actual rubber holders there, no problem with shorts out, and it looks so good. I've actually given the board a clean off as well, but it looks really, really nice. So you join me the next morning, and I've actually had an email back from support, and they're shipping me a replacement top cover on express shipping. So more than happy with that. Great service on the support, no problems whatsoever. So now this brings me to this. What do I think of this really? I actually, even though we had some issues with the screw holes at the bottom and the location of the beveled areas for the screw recesses, I still really, really like it. It's a really nice case. It's not very expensive in all honesty. If you look at the one that Perifractic had made, he paid over $400 for his one to be 3D printed. And you can pick these up relatively cheap, you know, and then they're shipped from Australia, let's not forget that. And for the little touches with the actual logo as well, as I said, I'd like to see a little bit of a change on that, but they didn't have to do it. So it's a really nice little feature that they've added on it as well, and give you your unique serial number underneath it too. So I can't fault them on their support, loved that. The quality of the actual plastics is great, just some little mistakes which they could probably fix in a later revision, but I actually really like it, and I'm happy I still bought it. And now on to some beauty shots. Yeah! That brings me to the end of another video, and if this was informative for you, then please think about whacking a like and subscribe. If you've got one yourself, throw in your comments what you think about it, and if you're going to get one, do the same. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next video.